Welcome to A to Z Tales. Today's story begins with a disaster. A bride vanishes hours before the ceremony. No warning, no explanation, no trace. The family panics. The groom waits at the altar. Guests whisper. Tension rises. And then something unthinkable happens. Her younger sister steps forward. She makes a choice that shocks everyone. She marries the groom herself, out of duty, out of honor, out of love for her family. But what follows is not scandal, not shame. It becomes something deeper, something beautiful. Stay with me. Learn English through story. And if you're new here, hit subscribe so you never miss another lesson. Chapter 1. The Vanishing Bride. The morning sun filtered through the sheer curtains, painting Kathy Reed's room in soft gold. Today should have been perfect. She ran her fingers over the delicate lace of her wedding gown, inhaling the scent of fresh lilies. Everything was set. The flowers, the hall, the music. Everything except the storm inside her heart. "Are you nervous?" her younger sister Lily asked, peeking through the door. Lily, 22, responsible, and fiercely loyal, always had that calm presence that grounded Kathy. She laughed, a sound that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Nervous? No. Just ready, I think." Lily smiled but frowned, sensing the tremor beneath the words. Across town, Daniel Hayes, steady and meticulous, was waiting. Calm, confident, the perfect man who believed in forever. He thought this day would seal their lives together in happiness. It didn't. At 11:37 a.m., 2 hours before the ceremony, Lily knocked on Kathy's dressing room door. "Kathy, they need you for photos." Silence. "Kathy, are you okay?" Nothing. Fear rose in Lily's chest. She pushed the door open. The room was empty. The dress box lay open, makeup scattered, Kathy's phone untouched on the vanity, shoes lined neatly on the floor. But Kathy, gone. Her breath caught. She searched the bathroom, hallway, lobby, garden. Nothing. "Mom! Mom, Kathy's gone!" Lily's voice trembled as panic spread like wildfire. Her mother's face turned pale. "Gone? What do you mean, gone?" "She didn't take her phone. She didn't tell anyone. She disappeared." Guests were arriving. The florist was fussing, the music team checking their instruments. Everyone assumed Kathy was getting ready. She wasn't. Daniel's mother, sharp and anxious, cornered Lily's mother. "What is happening? Why isn't she here?" Lily's mother forced a weak smile. "She's on her way." Her hands shook. Minutes became hours in minutes. Every second stretched painfully. Daniel stood at the altar, jaw tight, heart breaking. Questions swarmed his mind, but no answers came. Lily watched him, so composed, so controlled, and felt a strange weight descend on her. Responsibility, duty, courage. A spark ignited deep inside her chest. She didn't yet know what it meant, but she felt the tremor of destiny's hand pressing against her life. Kathy was gone, and everything was about to change. Chapter 2. The Decision of Duty. By 1:10 p.m., the guests were growing restless. Murmurs floated like low thunder through the grand hall. Is the bride okay? Did something happen? Maybe she ran away. The Reed family sat frozen, panic written in every line of their faces. Daniel, standing at the altar, looked composed, an image of control, but Lily knew better. She could see the storm in his eyes, the disappointment, the heartbreak. Every second without Kathy was a knife twisting in his chest. Lily's mother whispered, trembling, "We can't cancel. People will talk. The family, our reputation." The weight of her mother's words pressed down on Lily. She had spent her life quietly protecting her sister, tending to the unspoken, the overlooked, the fragile hearts around her. And now the impossible lay before her, a choice that would alter everything. She swallowed, a deep, steady breath. "Mom," she whispered. Her mother blinked. "What is it, Lily?" "I'll do it." Her mother froze. "Do what?" "I'll marry Daniel." Shock swept the room. The words hung in the air like lightning. Her mother's hand flew to her mouth. "Lily, no, you can't." "Yes," Lily said, firm now. "I will." Daniel turned sharply, eyes wide. "Lily, what are you saying?" "I'm saying the families won't suffer. The guests won't whisper. I can't let everything fall apart, not today." The silence was unbearable. Every heartbeat felt amplified, every glance a judgment. Daniel studied her, conflicted. "This is Kathy's wedding. She's not here. We don't know when or if she will return." A shiver ran through him. The truth hit harder than he expected. Kathy, the woman he had dreamed of marrying, the bride of his life, she was gone. And this was real. Lily was standing here, offering herself as a shield, a savior, a lifeline. Lily stepped closer, eyes unwavering. "I'm not replacing her. I'm protecting both our families. You deserve respect, not humiliation. And my mother, she cannot survive the shame." His jaw tightened. He searched her face. There was no desire in her eyes, no romantic longing, only courage, responsibility, and fierce loyalty. "Are you sure?" he asked softly. She nodded, completely. The families debated, whispered, argued, but the clock didn't care. Guests waited, and Lily stood firm, resolute, a calm storm in the center of chaos. At 1:42 p.m., she walked down the aisle, not as Kathy's replacement, not as a shadow, but as Lily Reed, strong, determined, the girl who saved a moment, a family, and perhaps, unknowingly, a future she had never imagined. Daniel's eyes followed her. Gratitude, confusion, respect, and something unspoken flickered in his gaze. A marriage born of duty, yes, but perhaps also the seed of something far more tender. When the officiant pronounced, "You may kiss the bride," Lily's lips met his in a brief, soft kiss. A kiss of promise, not passion. A kiss that marked the beginning of a new story. Chapter 3. Marriage of Convenience. The first week of marriage was a delicate exercise in restraint. Lily and Daniel moved through the house like strangers, sharing a confined space, careful not to touch, careful not to speak too much, careful not to feel too much. Every glance, every word, every gesture was measured, polite, almost ritualistic. Daniel insisted on routines. Breakfast at 8, coffees strong, black, work calls, emails, meetings. Lily followed suit, attending to household tasks with precision, adjusting to a life she had never imagined for herself. She wasn't replacing Kathy, not in her mind. She was protecting Daniel, herself, and her family from shame. Yet the quiet moments in the house, the small acts of care, began to leave traces of warmth. One morning, Lily prepared Daniel's coffee just the way he liked it. Fresh beans, strong enough to wake a man before dawn. She placed the cup on the kitchen counter, and Daniel appeared a moment later, surprised by this subtle familiarity. "You remembered," he said, eyes listing, softening. "I watch people," she replied simply. It was a small exchange, almost mundane. Yet, in that moment, the sterile walls of the house seemed to shrink, and the air felt a little warmer. Evenings were the hardest. Silence stretched long and uncomfortable across the living room as they ate dinner, each bite measured, each word deliberate. But in the quiet, understanding grew. Daniel noticed Lily's thoughtfulness, how she adjusted the thermostat to his comfort, how she left a book on the nightstand that she knew he would enjoy. And Lily noticed him too, how he carried the groceries without complaint, how he fixed the leaky faucet without being asked, how he waited patiently while she unpacked the remaining boxes of her new life. They weren't lovers, they weren't friends, they weren't yet even companions. They were something in between. Two hearts learning the rhythm of coexistence, two minds learning the quiet intimacy of shared space. On the third night, Daniel found her sitting alone in the study, scribbling in a notebook. He hesitated before speaking. "Can I ask something?" he said cautiously. "Of course," she replied. Do you regret this?" His voice was quiet, almost vulnerable. Lily looked up, meeting his gaze. She said, "Not yet," she said softly. I don't know what I feel, but I know I'm here for a reason, and I'll do my best to honor it." Daniel nodded, almost imperceptibly. For the first time, he allowed himself to feel that perhaps, in the strangest of circumstances, this union, born of duty and chaos, might be capable of something real. And as they returned to their separate rooms that night, the house held a subtle shift, a promise that the cold, awkward beginning of marriage could, in time, transform into warmth. Chapter 4: Unseen Connections. The days bled into each other, quiet, careful, and full of unspoken tension. Lily began noticing details she had never paid attention to before. The way Daniel hummed softly when he worked in the garage, how he straightened the living room pillows even when no one was watching, how his brow furrowed slightly when he concentrated. Daniel, too, began seeing Lily in ways that surprised him, not as Kathy's replacement, not as a dutiful sister, but as a woman with quiet strength, thoughtfulness, and patience. The way she carried herself, gentle yet unwavering, gave him a strange sense of calm he hadn't expected. One rainy afternoon, Daniel returned from work soaked and frustrated. The early spring storm had drenched him, leaving him cold and irritable. Without a word, Lily wrapped a soft towel around his shoulders and handed him a warm cup of tea, sweetened just the way he liked it. "You didn't have to," he murmured, heat and gratitude in his chest. "I know," she said softly, "but I wanted to." There was a pause, a quiet recognition of something delicate forming between them, a sense that this marriage, awkward and unexpected as it was, could grow into a partnership that neither had planned but both needed. Evenings became a subtle dance of shared moments. Lily read quietly in the living room, while Daniel worked on a report at the dining table. Occasionally, she would glance up and catch him watching her, a faint smile tugging at the corners of his lips. He would quickly look away, but she felt the connection, invisible yet undeniable. One night, as Lily wiped the kitchen counters, Daniel appeared behind her, hands tucked into his pockets. "You know, I never thought I'd feel comfortable in a marriage like this, but with you, it feels different." She froze, her hands stilling. "Different?" "Calm," he said, with a small smile. "Safe, honest, and unexpected." Her chest tightened. That single word, unexpected, echoed her own heart. She had not anticipated these feelings, these subtle stirrings of warmth and trust, and yet here they were, weaving themselves quietly into her life. For the first time, Lily allowed herself a small thought. Maybe duty brought them together, but connection, unseen yet palpable, could make them more. As they returned to their separate rooms that night, the house felt softer, warmer. A fragile thread of trust stretched taut between them, and neither could deny that it carried the faintest hint of something deeper. Chapter 5: Friendship Blooms. Weeks passed, and the house that had once felt like a cage of silence began to hum with small, shared rhythms. Lily and Daniel still lived with the delicate boundaries of caution, but now there were glimpses of warmth in those boundaries. Smiles lingering a little longer, laughter spilling unexpectedly, conversations stretching past necessity. It began one quiet evening when Daniel found Lily sitting by the window, a notebook open in her lap, scribbling furiously. He paused at the doorway, watching her in the dim lamplight. "What are you writing?" he asked softly, not wanting to startle her. "Nothing important," she replied, though her smile betrayed her words. "Just thoughts, notes, ideas." He moved closer, curiosity piqued. "May I?" Lily hesitated, then nodded. He leaned beside her, reading her words silently. There was honesty there, vulnerability, a depth he hadn't expected from someone who had seemed so composed and selfless. You're really thoughtful," he said quietly. "I didn't notice before." She looked up, cheeks flushed. "I don't know if you notice anything at all," she teased lightly, though her heart raced. Daniel chuckled, the sound warm and easy. "I notice now," he said. The evening unfolded gently. They spoke of childhood memories, books they loved, the music that moved them. No awkwardness, no pretense, just two people discovering each other in the soft glow of shared space. Lily found herself laughing freely, and Daniel found himself smiling in a way that surprised even him. On weekends, the quiet rituals they had established became more meaningful. Sunday walks in the park turned into playful debates about books and movies. Tea on the balcony was accompanied by lingering conversation that neither wanted to end. One evening, Lily caught Daniel watching her as she read aloud a passage from a favorite novel. His expression was thoughtful, almost tender. She felt a strange flutter in her chest. For the first time, she realized she cared, not out of duty, not out of obligation, but because she genuinely wanted to. Daniel noticed small things too. The way Lily tucked her hair behind her ear when she was concentrating, the soft patience in her voice, the kindness that threaded through every action. He felt a growing desire to protect her, to see her smile more often, to be part of her life not because he had to, but because he wanted to. Late that night, as they prepared for bed, their conversation lingered longer than usual. They spoke of hopes, fears, and little dreams. Lily's hand brushed against Daniel's accidentally, and neither pulled away. For the first time, both of them acknowledged, silently, that this marriage, born of duty, was beginning to bloom into something else, something tender, something real. And though neither dared to name it aloud yet, their hearts knew the truth. Friendship had begun to blossom into love, patient, cautious, and quietly unstoppable. Chapter 6. Kathy Returns. 6 months had passed. The quiet, careful rhythm of Lily and Daniel's life had settled into something tender, comforting, and surprisingly joyful. They had learned the nuances of each other's hearts, the subtle language of shared smiles, the warmth in small gestures. And then Kathy returned. It was a rainy evening when the doorbell rang. Lily opened the door to find a familiar figure, soaked and disheveled, yet strikingly unchanged. Kathy Reed stood there, eyes wide, a mixture of fear and uncertainty on her face. "Kathy?" Lily whispered, stunned. Kathy's lips trembled. "Lily, I'm so sorry. I had to leave. I didn't know how else to figure myself out." Daniel appeared behind Lily, eyes narrowing in disbelief. You just come back after disappearing for months?" Kathy's gaze flickered to him. "Daniel, I know this looks terrible. I didn't mean to hurt anyone. I needed time. Lily's chest tightened, an unfamiliar sting of jealousy mingling with confusion. She remembered the chaos Kathy had left behind, the weight of responsibility that had fallen on her shoulders. And now Kathy stood there claiming a reason, a justification, a past that neither of them could forget. Daniel ran a hand through his hair, struggling for composure. "Why now?" he asked quietly. "Why return after 6 months?" Kathy's eyes glistened. "Because I can't run from reality forever. I thought I was lost. I thought I needed to find myself. But now I see I've left a mess behind, and I need to face it." Lily's voice trembled, but she held her ground. "Kathy, we left. We didn't know if you'd ever come back. Daniel and we built a life while you were gone. We didn't plan it, but it's real." Kathy looked between them, pain etched on her features. "I see that. I see what I've done. And I don't want to come between you two. I needed to understand myself." Daniel stepped forward, gently taking Lily's hand. "Kathy, I don't feel the same way I did 6 months ago. That love I had for you, it's changed. It's different now." Kathy swallowed, tears brimming. "I understand." The storm outside mirrored the storm inside Lily's chest. She realized the moment had come where choices mattered. Not duty, not guilt, but courage. And Kathy, her sister, standing there with honesty and vulnerability, was willing to step aside. "I think we can all move forward," Lily said quietly, not as if nothing happened, but stronger, wiser, and with respect. Kathy nodded, a fragile smile appearing. I'm proud of you, Lily, proud of both of you." And in that moment, the tension began to dissolve. The past had returned, but it would not define their future. The love Lily and Daniel had nurtured, born of duty and care, now faced its first true test and survived. Chapter 7. Storm of Emotions. The days that followed Kathy's return were tense, like a storm trapped inside the walls of their home. Every glance, every word carried weight. Every silence was thick with unsaid feelings. Lily and Daniel felt the fragile rhythm they had built, threatened by the ghost of a past neither could erase. Daniel found himself restless. He had loved Kathy once, thought he understood her completely, but now that bond felt like a shadow, fleeting and insubstantial compared to the solid, growing connection with Lily. Still, guilt gnawed at him. Kathy had been gone, yes, but she had been his choice once. And now she was back, vulnerable, needing answers, seeking reconciliation. Lily struggled too. She had grown to cherish Daniel, loved the quiet intimacy they had discovered, and the warmth of shared trust. But now, Kathy's presence stirred old fears. Would Daniel's heart drift back? Could she lose him after all she had risked to build a life together? One evening, the three of them sat in the living room. Rain pounded against the windows, a reflection of the tension inside. I don't want to hurt you, Kathy said, voice trembling. I just needed to face my mistakes. I didn't expect to find anything the way I left it. Daniel's jaw tightened. Kathy, I don't feel what I used to feel for you. Things are different now. I care about you as my friend, my sister's sister, but my heart, it belongs to Lily. Lily's chest tightened, a mixture of relief and anxiety flooding her at his words. She reached for his hand, fingers brushing his. He held the gesture, anchoring her in the storm. Kathy's eyes filled with tears. I see it. I see what's here, and I don't want to come between you. I just needed to understand, needed to see the truth. The room was heavy with unspoken emotion. Lily's throat ached with the weight of anger, love, and protective instinct. Daniel's heart pounded with guilt, loyalty, and desire. Kathy's pain was raw and honest, a mirror of the confusion they all felt. Hours passed in silence, punctuated by sighs and the occasional tremor of emotion. And then Kathy stood, fragile yet resolute. You two have something real. I see that now, and I can't take it from you. I'll leave you to what you've built. I promise. Lily exhaled, tears slipping freely now, not of fear, but of relief. Daniel drew her close, protective, tender, and resolute. In that moment, the storm of emotions began to dissipate. Kathy's return had tested them, challenged their love, and stirred fears they didn't know existed. But it had also confirmed the truth they had already discovered. Their hearts were intertwined, strong enough to survive guilt, doubt, and even the return of the past. As Kathy left that night, a quiet peace settled in the house. The love between Lily and Daniel, once born of duty, had been tested, and now it burned with clarity, steady, unshakable, and there. Chapter 8. Choosing Love Over Fear. The morning sun filtered through the curtains, soft and golden, as if the universe itself were giving Lily and Daniel a fresh start. The tension from Kathy's return had faded, leaving behind clarity and a quiet certainty. The love that had grown slowly between them, born of duty, nurtured by care, was now ready to be claimed openly. Lily sat at the kitchen table, a cup of tea warming her hands. Daniel leaned against the counter, watching her with an intensity that made her heart flutter. No words were necessary. They had shared months of small gestures, of long conversations, of quiet understanding. Their connection had survived the storm and emerged stronger. "Lily," Daniel said softly, breaking the silence. His voice carried the weight of months of unspoken feelings. "I can't imagine my life without you, not just as my wife, but as the woman I love." Lily's breath caught. "Daniel, I love you too," she whispered, a tremor of emotion threading her words. "I didn't expect this, not this way, but I can't deny it anymore." He stepped closer, the space between them charged with anticipation. "You were brave when you had to be. You stepped into chaos and made it beautiful. And in the process, you became the center of my world." Her eyes glistened, and for a moment, all the fears, the uncertainties, the past seemed to vanish. It was just them, two hearts intertwined, fearless in the face of everything that had come before. Then Daniel knelt on one knee, a small velvet box in his hands. Lily gasped, her hands flying to her mouth. "Daniel, what are you—" "I'm asking you to marry me," he said, voice steady, eyes unwavering. "Not out of duty, not out of obligation, but because I choose you, because I love you, because you are the woman I want for all my tomorrows." Tears slipped freely down Lily's cheeks. "Yes," she whispered, voice breaking with emotion. "Yes, Daniel, I choose you too." He slid the ring onto her finger, a symbol of choice, of love, of destiny reclaimed. And when he kissed her, it was no longer a brief, polite gesture. It was deep, full of passion, gratitude, and promise. The kiss of a man claiming the woman who had captured his heart, and the woman finally allowing herself to be claimed. The day unfolded quietly, a simple celebration between them and their families. No grand spectacle was needed. Every glance, every smile, every soft touch was proof that love, real, chosen love, had blossomed from the ruins of chaos. Kathy, who had returned and left again, was at peace knowing the love she had once known had found its rightful place. And Lily and Daniel, they had learned the greatest lesson of all. Love born from courage, patience, and honesty was not only possible, it was unshakable. Chapter 9. A Life Rewritten. The months that followed Daniel's heartfelt proposal were gentle and steady, a time for Lily and Daniel to reshape their lives around love rather than duty. The awkward beginnings of their marriage had transformed into a warm, thriving partnership, and now they had the chance to celebrate it fully, with a second wedding, small and intimate, a testament to their journey. The day of their second wedding dawned crisp and clear. Lily stood before the mirror, wearing a simple yet elegant dress of soft silk that flowed like water around her. No grand decorations, no looming expectations, just her, Daniel, and the choice they had made together. Daniel waited in the small chapel, calm yet eager, his eyes reflecting the depth of his emotions. This was not the wedding of obligation, nor the compromise of duty. This was a celebration of their love, untainted by the past, grounded in the truth of what they had built together. Lily's heart fluttered as she approached him, hand in hand with her mother, who whispered, "You have chosen wisely, my dear." Lily smiled softly, feeling the strength of that choice ripple through her. As they exchanged vows, the words were simple, yet every syllable carried the weight of months of growth, patience, and emotional trials. Daniel promised to cherish Lily, to honor her heart, and to love her fully, without reservation. Lily, in turn, promised to walk beside him, to be partner and confidant, and to nurture the bond that had grown unexpectedly, beautifully, into something profound. When they kissed, it was not a fleeting gesture. It was a seal of their shared journey, the story of two people bound not by circumstance, but by choice, courage, and the resilience of love. Friends and family witnessed the union, hearts swelling with joy for the couple who had overcome fear, confusion, and uncertainty. Kathy, present as a silent observer, felt a mixture of sorrow and pride. She had once been central to Daniel's life, but she now understood the depth of the bond he shared with Lily. The love in that chapel was real, steadfast, and unshakable. And for the first time in months, Kathy felt a sense of closure and peace. Life after the second wedding settled into a gentle rhythm. Lily and Daniel shared quiet mornings, soft laughter over evening dinners, and long walks that stretched into golden sunsets. Their home became a sanctuary of trust, respect, and unwavering love. Every challenge they had faced, the vanishing bride, the chaos of duty, the storm of emotions, had led them here, to a life rewritten, a life they had chosen freely, and a love that was theirs, fully and completely. The past remained a shadow, but it no longer dictated their future. They had proven that love, courage, and honesty could build something enduring, something beautiful. And as they held each other close, they knew this was only the beginning. Chapter 10. Love Born from Chaos. The seasons changed, one after another, and with them the quiet stability of Lily and Daniel's life deepened. What had begun as a marriage born of chaos had grown into something rare, steady, resilient, and full of warmth. The house they shared echoed with laughter, soft music, and the occasional clatter of everyday life. It was imperfect, yet perfect in its authenticity. Lily often thought back to the day Kathy had vanished. She remembered the panic, the weight of responsibility, the fear that the world might crumble around her. And she remembered the moment she had stepped forward, trembling yet determined, to save her family's honor. That day had altered the course of her life, yet in ways she could never have imagined. Daniel had become more than a husband. He was a confidant, a partner, a sanctuary. Their love had been tested, strained by absence, jealousy, and fear, but it had survived. It had grown stronger with every shared morning, every quiet evening, every gentle touch that said more than words ever could. Kathy had returned once, and in doing so reminded them both of the fragility of love and the courage required to claim it. She had left again, gracious and understanding, allowing Lily and Daniel to fully embrace the life they had built. That act, perhaps more than any other, solidified the bond between the two of them, proof that love was not possession, but choice. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Lily and Daniel walked hand in hand through their garden, the scent of blooming flowers surrounding them. "Do you ever think about what might have happened if Kathy hadn't left?" Lily asked, her voice soft, thoughtful. Daniel smiled, squeezing her hand. "I do, but I also know that everything, the chaos, the fear, the choices we had to make, led us here, to this, to us, and I wouldn't change a thing." Her heart swelled with love, gratitude, and quiet awe. The life they had created was no accident. It was born of courage, of standing firm when the world seemed to collapse, of acting with honor when fear pressed in from every side. "Me neither," she whispered. "I love you, Daniel, completely." "I love you too, Lily," his voice unwavering. Not because it was easy, but because it was worth every moment of struggle, every challenge, every fear. And as the stars began to dot the night sky, they stood together, hand in hand, hearts aligned, and lives intertwined. The past, the vanished bride, the chaos, the storm, was no longer a shadow but the foundation upon which their love had been built. They had learned that life breaks patterns, destiny ignores plans, and the unexpected can lead to the most profound blessings. Duty had become courage, courage had become connection, and connection had blossomed into a love stronger than shock, stronger than gossip, stronger than the past. In the quiet of that night, Lily and Daniel understood the truth. Love born from chaos was the kind that endured, the kind that deepened, and the kind that never let go. And in that understanding, they found peace, happiness, and the promise of a life fully lived. Together. The reality. Life breaks patterns. Destiny ignores plans. Sometimes the path we fear most leads to the life we were meant to live. Lily didn't dream of marrying Daniel. Daniel never imagined loving her. But duty became courage. Courage became connection, and connection became love. Take one brave step this week. Face your fear. Something beautiful may be waiting behind the door you fear the most. If this story moved you or helped your English, hit like, subscribe, and share.